big.
Our open judges were Josh Mays, Marty Welch, and Bob Hawkins. Judges for nature were Ron Baker, Josh Mays, and Bob Hawkins. Judges for our themed competition, which was Panorama, were Ron Baker, Kevin Morano, and Mike Nelson. So take it away, Kevin.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. Keep in mind, you can always unmute yourself. But just in case there's any extraneous noise out there, we don't need to hear that. So everybody is now muted. So Kevin, you're going to need to unmute yourself. Or I'll do it.
No, there it is. Okay. Did my desktop show up? There.
I think it's starting. There we go. Yes, we see it.
Get that out of the way. Okay. In this competition, actually in all of them, it took 22 points to get a ribbon. So things are pretty tough. These are the images that did not receive a ribbon. And I'll show them with the judging scores. Okay, now we'll go on to the ribbon winners. Okay, honorable mentions. third place. And first place winners. Okay, on to nature. And okay, now the ribbon winners. This was a little unusual that we had 5 first place winners and 11 honorable mentions. I'll start with honorable mentions. and the first place ribbon winners. Okay, and then creative category, which was panoramas. And these are the non-ribbon winners. Okay, and these are the ribbon winners. Fourth place ribbons. And our first place ribbon winners. Okay, I'll turn things back to you, Dan.
All right, Kevin, do we have any awards of merit tonight?
Get those, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get back to sharing the screen here. These are the award of merit ribbon winner or winners from January's competition. And there are 10 of them. Okay, I guess now I'll stop sharing and turn it back to you, Dan.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. And before we have Paul do our commentary, just a few announcements. Again, I want to thank our judges for tonight's competition: Josh Mays, Marty Welch, Bob Hawkins, Ron Baker, Kevin Morano, and Mike Nelson. Thank you guys for being judges. Thanks again to our Vice President, Bob Hawkins, he's always the guy who assembles our judging crew and puts together the competitions. And Kevin Morano is our photo contest pro wizard who just now presented the results of our competition. Thanks a lot for doing that, Kevin. Our next meeting will be on March 9th. That'll be a print competition with the usual categories: open, monochrome, and small prints. The themed topic for March 9th is from a low angle. And the program for March 9th will be presented by Paul Bruce, Understanding Focusing Options in Your Camera.
And Dan, that themed competition is not the 9th, that's the 23rd.
That's what I meant. Thanks, Paul. The 23rd, yes. The 9th is the print competition. That makes sense. Does anyone else have any announcements for the club? I want to also congratulate all the winners tonight for the competition. And Paul is going to make some comments about some of the entries tonight. Are you ready to do that, Paul?
All set.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, as you may know, if you've been on the last couple months meetings, Ron and I have taken a few of the images and modified them to match the comments that we made, just to make it easier for you to see what we're talking about. But if you don't want yours modified, send one of us an email, Dan or Bob or myself or Woody, anyone, and we'll not do that with your images. But our intent is not to show the photographer what we're thinking, but it's more to show everyone else. And we'll always try to do it in a constructive manner. Again, what we say is just our opinion and perspective from our experience, just like the judges. You never know. I mean, there's no right or wrong, just some ideas we like to put out there to hopefully help you. So in this one, and then this month, actually, I couldn't find any that I wanted to modify. Lots of good images. And you'll see, I'm going to show you a lot of those. But this one, I just wondered if maybe the total black background looked unnatural to the judges, because the flower itself is really beautiful and mostly in focus. I would say, had there been maybe a soft, and by that I mean dark, but still with detail background to put it in context, maybe that would have helped it. Oh no. Now this is the first of many you'll see me talk about that I would have easily given a ribbon to. I think it's beautiful, great flow, literally and figuratively, flow as far as your eyes through the image and composition wise. So I like a slow or a long shutter speed that makes this water look soft. I think that's great. The fact that it's black and white doesn't hurt it to me, and maybe helps it. I thought that was a real good composition and a nice photo. Try it again next year, maybe in black and white. There's another terrific shot. I was surprised it didn't win a ribbon. I don't think. Beautiful lighting. It's sort of warm, either morning or evening. It looks like because it's coming in from the side more than from above. The background is there, but not distracting. So think of a background like that for that initial flower we saw. I like that a lot, and everything's in focus there that you want to have in focus. Now this is very pretty, also sharp, but this border, actually, I wondered if it might have distracted the judges, because I can see the image outside of the border. Maybe if that had been the edge, it would have not been so distracting. I'm not sure it needs the border, but if you want to add one, maybe put it right at the edge of the image rather than inset a little bit. Now this looks good if I'm going to put it on my website or something, but perhaps in competition it's a little distracting. And it does look like maybe it was a low resolution file to begin with. The head looks a little over processed. Maybe something was done to try to take away some noise or give it more detail, but there's something about the head, which is the most important part, that looks just a little off. I thought this had a lot of impact because it's so in your face, and it demonstrates what we're looking at, which is a monstrous aircraft carrier. And you don't see this angle much, even in the promotional photos from the Navy. I thought this was really nice. Again, every judge's perspective is different, and something didn't hit all the judges just right, but I thought it was really nice. And we're going to see tonight some examples of dead center composition, which we talk about every once in a while. That's one of those rules that some people think shouldn't be broken, but this is a perfect example, I think, of how a dead center composition can have a lot of impact. Now, this is a beautiful black and white, I call it printed, but a processed image, because there's nice gradation of tones. There's obviously a foreground or background because the depth of field sort of forces that. My guess is there's the center of interest is maybe just not as impactful as some of the others that we've seen, that the judges see. So this would be good in an exhibit about a swamp or trees on its own. Against these other images, it's hard to compete impact-wise. Another stunning image, I think, that didn't win. The lines made by these cardinals, let alone the bright color against the snow, I think is beautiful, has high impact. Now, the upper right cardinal is blocked by a branch, but it's, to me, almost unnoticeable. And the exposure in such a situation is very difficult. Not only making sure snow turns out white in your image, but when you do that, often reds get overblown and you lose the detail, but this looks perfect. Another good one. The center stamens, everything looks in focus to me, pretty much. So again, try this next year. Nothing wrong with this. Different judges will probably give it a different score. Very nice. Background is not distracting, but yet I can see there's something there. So to me, I like that. Here's another one of the dead center compositions I was talking about. And also beautifully processed, I think. I don't know if the maker's here and they can tell us if that is an HDR image or if it was toned as if it was. But it looks a little toned, but not too much. I think it's perfect. The stairs lead me right in, and the winding stairs take me right up with detail everywhere and a little vignette around the edges. So I'm forced to look right down the middle. It's very nice. All right, so that was open. Just have a few here in nature we can look at. I'll say I didn't pick any of the ones in the themed competition to critique because frankly I couldn't find much to say about them. The main thing that I'm going to guess might have hurt those that didn't win is the non-panoramic shape. Several of them maybe weren't quite the ratio that the judges wanted to see. And a panoramic has no firm definition, but at least 2 to 1, but usually 3 to 1 or more will strike the judges as a panoramic. And a lot of those were not that way. And most of those looked like they could have been cropped top and bottom and made more panoramic without hurting the image at all. But here in nature, this just screamed at me as the beauty of simplicity and the impact of simplicity. Besides the fact that it seems crystal sharp, it's a beautiful shot. I love that little twig in the water. I think that really helps balance it. The bird's eye is dead center from left to right. So you might call it a bit of a centered subject. But I think it's just terrific. I think this might have won something, and it should have. I think it's great. There's another good one. Plenty of depth of field for me in the subject area, which is not just the bee, but probably what the bee is on, and that's the middle of that flower. And a tight crop, which is, looks like it's cropped in a little more than the original, because that doesn't look like the ratio of a normal 35 millimeter image, but it works. I think it's great. You can see the pollen all over his head and legs. Try that again. If this was a non-winner, try that again. And another gorgeous one, also cropped square. Nice and sharp. That's what you want in a macro image without detail in the background. Perfect lighting and exposure. So well done. Now this one's also fairly clear and sharp. Beautiful colors. Here I would guess that the judges probably want to see more of the bird in that case for this kind of a picture. It's an interesting pose that you don't always see, but with the head and neck mostly underwater, or a lot underwater, it may not be as appealing as some of the others that we've seen. And there were at least one other winning image of a waterfowl this week that you can tell the difference. Now this one's a good composition and good color, but I don't know if you can see it. It is just a bit soft. And when the judges see these, they can scrutinize, and they're fairly big on their screen. So if it's not real sharp, that may hurt you, and that may be what happened here.